Hey, my name's Quinn and welcome back to my channel. It has been a very long time since I posted anything on this channel. I had a few life changes last year, including a move and a new job, and I just did not have a whole lot of time. It just kind of threw me for a groove a little bit. So by the time I was feeling ready to post, it was towards the end of the year, and it just didn't seem like a good time to pick back up on the channel. And I did film a video at the beginning of this year for a January wrap up and a goals video, and completely and totally forgot to post it. So this is going to be a goals video, and I'm just also kind of like the best books of the year so far video. I won't be including worst book of the year so far because I haven't rated anything under 3 stars so far this year, and I don't really think it's fair to put a 3-star read as like a worst book of the year, even though I could probably pick out like a least favorite book that I read this year, but it doesn't feel worth mentioning for worst book of the year. So with that being said, I'm going to start with the goals, and many of these are just book goals, but some were video, were channel goals, and obviously I haven't done a good job on my channel goal. I wanted to post more this year, be more consistent with posting, and obviously off to a horrible start because I'm just posting this in June. So hopefully I will do better for the second half of the year. I do want to plan some, maybe some like, favorite fantasy, favorite contemporary, favorite romance videos, you know, things along those lines. I don't really have anything planned out right now, but it's definitely something I'm thinking about doing. And I won't be doing TBR videos anymore. I don't really enjoy them. I find it hard to describe what a book is supposed to be when I haven't read it yet, besides reading the synopsis. And that just, that would just be like awkward to do. I will be doing quarterly wrap-up videos for the most part. Like if I happen to read a lot in a month, I might do a monthly wrap-up video, but I do work 2 jobs right now, so I don't have much reading time I would like. I usually read probably on average 2 or 3 books a month, and that just doesn't feel worth doing a monthly wrap-up video for, because it would just be like such a quick video. It wouldn't be very fun or entertaining probably for me to film it, or for anyone to listen to it, because it could be, depending if I on the book, if I don't have much to say about it, like 5 minutes or less. Maybe 10 minutes if I really like a book and I have a lot to say, or I really don't like a book and I have a lot to say. But like for the most part, it just it wouldn't be worth it. But sometimes I am able to read more. I would say if I finish at least 5, I would probably do a monthly wrap-up video. I know in January I had done a monthly wrap-up video because I read 6 books that month, but that is the only month that I read a lot of books. It's the other books, it's been like 4, 2 for 1 month, maybe 3 for another. It's been saying my average is probably somewhere between 2 and 3, 3.5. So, the rest of the year is going to be more like, favorite video books, maybe least favorite books, favorite tropes, and then monthly wrap-up videos. That is what I have in mind for the channel. For actual reading goals, I did set my reading goal for 30 books this year, and I am well on my way to reaching that, which is a relief because that was my goal last year too, and I didn't come close. I didn't come close to reaching it. Right now I think I have read 21 or 22 books so far this year, and we're only halfway through the year. So right now, if I continue reading at the rate that I am, I'm definitely going to I'm definitely going to meet my goal, and it's possible I will exceed it. Other than that, my other goals were to knock down my pile of shame. So I have a pile of books that I temporarily DNF'd, either because just wasn't feeling it at the time, but I wasn't hating it so much that I didn't feel it was like not worth giving the book another shot. Like, just wasn't feeling it at the time kind of thing, but like there were still good things about it, so I was still interested. or life got busy or something and I had to put the book down, and when I was available to pick a book back up, I wasn't in the mood for that book anymore. I was off to a really good start at this in the beginning of the year, but I have since slowed down. Now, it did start off the year at 11 or 12, and I just checked last night, and I'm at 8. So technically, I'm still doing okay on that goal, but I want to be doing better. So I do want to make sure that for like the last quarter of the year, because I already have like a TBR list for the third quarter. But for the fourth quarter, I want to make sure that I am making more progress on that pile. I want to whittle it down further. I would be really happy if I could end the year with only 5 books on that pile, and if it has to be more than that, I would prefer to at least get the books that have been on the pile the longest out of there. I would like to stay under double digits with that pile for the end of the year. But ideally, I want only 5 books on that pile. I don't think that'll happen. I think that's too lofty of a goal, considering my reading habits, and I've been DNFing a lot of books this year. But that would make me the happiest. Another goal I had was either to continue or finish series. I don't think I'm doing as well on this one either as I should be, but I'm not doing awful. I am very close to finishing out 2 series, one closer to the other. I'm on the 3rd book. There's only 1 book left. I should be able to finish that by the end of the year, no matter what. Really, that is the plan. The other series is a series of unfortunate events. I'm not as close to finishing that. I still have a few, but I only have 1 more physical copy of the book, so the other 2 or 3 that I have to read before I can get to the last book I will do as audiobooks, and they're really short, and they are narrated by Tim Curry on Audible, and they're really fun. So I don't think I'll have any problem getting through them. But I'm not super consistent on listening to audiobooks. It's not my preferred method of consuming books. So it's possible that I will miss the mark on that, but I am really on my goal. Otherwise, I'm close to being caught up on the Fourth Wing series. I did technically finish the Twilight series, although I do still want to read Midnight Sun. But like for the actual 4 books in the original series, like I did complete that. There's still a few that I'm in the middle of, and probably a few that I will start before the end of the year. So I'm not as far in that goal as I would like, but I'm speaking about it out loud. I actually think I'm doing a little better than I originally thought I was. Another goal of mine, and this one's actually been going really well, was to get back into mystery thrillers and suspense books. For the past few years, they've just kind of really been missing the mark for me, and I think that it's just that I have a very specific niche for these books anymore. I used to really love, like, the traditional murder mystery, like cop, detectives figuring out who killed this person. And I think I just read so much of those that anytime I read it, it's like nothing original or, particularly fun about it. But like, and in fact, 2 of the books that are going to be in the best of the year so far, are mystery suspense thrillers, and one might actually be my favorite of the year. Had those elements in it, of course, but read more closely to like almost literary fiction. They just had more elements to it. There was more to it than just who done it. So I think I'm just finding that I am maybe not loving the type that I used to read, and I'm just finding a new niche in the genre. And that was pretty much it for reading goals. So I'm not doing awful on any of my reading goals. There are certainly some I wish I was doing better on. But with that being said, I am going to go ahead and start going over my favorite books of the year so far. Starting off with Fairy Tale by Hiro Mishima. I've read, I actually don't know if I read this volume this year or last year, but I have read a few fairy tale. I just picked up a volume for him because, to be honest, anytime I read fairy tale, and a lot of it is rereads for me, it's just an automatic 5-star reads because it's so fun and exciting, and I love the characters. Like, they're so quirky. It has like found family element. Basically, the premise of the series is that there is this wizard guild fairy tale, and in this world you join like a guild, and that's how you search for work. And you know, they work together in teams, they take down the bad guys. It's just like always such a fun read, and it's just pretty much always an automatic 5-star read for me. And I've read quite a bit of fairy tale this year. It's taking up the vast majority of my 5-star reads, but really, it's just such a fun series, and I would highly recommend it to anyone, especially if you love found family trope. You can't go wrong. Okay, and then there was The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. Now, I don't have a physical copy of this book anymore. It ended up in a donation box. I tend to not keep mystery and thrillers and suspense books after I finish reading them because the reread is never as good as originally reading it, just by the nature of that genre. If I am able to find a way to like attach a picture of the book cover to this video, I will. But if not, if you're curious, you know, just type it into Google, it'll come up for you. But basically the premise of this book is that this family owns and runs like this camp, and one of the campers, who is the daughter of the family, goes missing, and like 10 plus years earlier, her brother had also gone missing from the camp. So, you know, very much is like your regular mystery thriller, like, you know, what happened to this girl, but it's also playing what happened to her brother years ago. But there's other things going on along that too. And it was just like captivated read. Like, all I wanted to do was read this book, and so I really highly recommend that book. And then there was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is like not only probably one of my favorite books of the year, but definitely the most surprising. I was not expecting to like Fourth Wing. I struggle with romantasy. It's really not my favorite genre. I typically don't like it. But I just kind of like, it was so hyped and everyone was talking about it that I was like, okay, I'll read it. But I was expecting it to either be a full-blown hate read, and that's the only reason I finished the book, or that I would DNF it. But I loved it. It's such a fun world. So it just revolves around the main character, who was raised to be a scribe, but her mother forces her to join the Dragon Rider group. So they're forced to go to this school where it's very dangerous. Like, you can die pretty much at any moment, either by a fellow rider in training or by dragons. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could die, and she suffers from a disability that really kind of makes all this, this act like fighting and strength like more of a challenge for her, than anyone else. But she's doing her best, and she's struggling, and she's making friends. This also has like a found family type of feel to it. Like, I love her characters, and I love their friendships. And our main character's name is Violet. I was thinking of it, but it just came to me now. But I don't know. I ended up loving this book. It's super exciting. I know those who don't like it really kind of crap on the world bending, but I don't really think it's that bad. I mean, it's not fantastic or anything, but it's not that bad. Like, I can clearly picture the world. I know what is being, what the author is shooting for, and I think for the most part she reaches it. But like, it's such a fun read. Like, it's so engaging. Is it the best thing ever read? No, absolutely not, but it is far from the worst. And if all you want is just like a fun and exciting read, I highly recommend this. And then there is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I have for the past 2 years been reading the Stormlight Archives. There's no way I can describe this book series or this book particular, because it's part of a series and I wouldn't be able to explain without spoiling everything. But basically, like, this is like culminating up the first part, because there's going to be 10 books in the series, and this is the 5th book, and it's ending the first arc of the book, and it's just, oh my god. I don't have words for this book, honestly. It was fantastic. I cried a lot. Um, I do understand though why I have heard and read people express disappointment about the book. I do think it's important if you are going into this to remember that it's not the end of the series. It's the end of the first arc. It's not going to wrap up everything, and it is going to open like additional storylines, because for some of the book I wasn't feeling bored ever, but I was kind of frustrated for a lot of the book because it's like, okay, why is this in here? It doesn't feel necessary. We're supposed to be wrapping things up, like come on. And then like towards the end I had an epiphany. It's like, this isn't the last book. This is not the last book in the series. And after that, like I was like, oh, okay, I understand. There's going to be a story arc from this. I get it. So I do think that's something to keep in mind going into this book, because I think if you go into that knowing that, you're going to have a better reading experience than if you didn't. Like, thankfully, I was able to realize that, before I got to the end. But I mean, it's totally fair. But anyone who, for those who are, disappointed, and I totally get why. That's very validating. Because for a lot of the book, I was like. Because it's such a long book, like you want to feel like everything in here is worth it. In the end, I do feel that, and I did give this book 5 stars. It is a 5-star book for me. Pretty much any book that makes me cry will end up getting 5 stars. That's a rule. I don't know why, but but it is for me. If it makes me cry, it's probably getting 5 stars. But I don't know, I adore this series, and I wish more people would read it so that I could talk to them about it. So if you want to talk about Stormlight Archives, leave anything in the comments and we can talk. I also read a funny story by Emily Henry this year, and this was kind of like a second chance for the author. I read, oh boy, Happy Place? Yes, Happy Place. 1 or 2 years ago, and I don't want to say I hated it. I do think I gave the book 4 stars, but I was expecting to love it, and I was disappointed by it. It was not what I thought it was going to be, and I wasn't sure if I would, because romance is not my favorite genre. I mean, I read it, and there's certainly some that I love and I really enjoy, but like I'm picky about it. So I wasn't sure if I would give the author a second chance. Just because, well, again, it's not my favorite genre, and I typically will find an author that I like, and I like their books, and that's it. It's kind of like the only genre where I'm really like that, because otherwise, like, it's not so much about the author for me, it's just the story. So, like, not to say that I don't have, like, repeat authors on my shelf or anything like that, but because I do. But I don't always specifically go out looking for another book by that author. That's rare for me, but it's not in the romance genre, because typically if I like an author's book, I'm probably gonna like another book by them. And since I didn't really love Happy Place, I wasn't expecting to, but everyone talks about Emily Henry and about how great her books were, and I gave it 4 stars. It's not like I hated Happy Place, I just was disappointed by it. So I decided to give her another chance, and I read Funny Stories. So this follows our main character, whose fiance has just broken up with her to get so he could get together with his childhood friend, who he told her was not a problem. In their relationship, she ends up moving in with her ex-fiance's girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, and their roommates. And she moved to, this is her boyfriend's town. She moved there to be with him, to marry him. It's not really her town. She wants to go back to around Washington, D.C., I think, to be near her mother. And the roommate's trying to convince her to stay, kind of reintroducing the town to her outside of her boyfriend's circles, hoping it can become her town too, because he likes her as a roommate. They end up in this fake dating situation, and which is like one of my favorite things. I love fake dating, the trope, even though it would go so horribly in real life, but like in fiction, it's great. And then, obviously romance pursues, and I just really liked the couple. And I don't really get crushes on fictional characters, but like, man, I wish the main character, the male main character Miles, was a real person, because oh my god, I totally fell in love with him throughout the whole book. It was a really super fun read, and highly recommend. Will absolutely give Emily Henry another chance, or not even another chance. I will definitely read something else by that author. Okay, and then the last book I'm going to talk about is Wild Dark Shores. Not Wild Dark Shores, Wild Dark Shore by Charlene McConaughey. And again, I also don't have a physical copy of this book, but if I can get a picture add it to the video, I will. But this was another mystery thriller, and it read really more like kind of like a literary fiction feel to it, and it might be my favorite book of the year. You know, it is about this family who is living on an island that's close to Antarctica. It's like between Australia and Antarctica. And they are alone on this island, and this woman washes up on shore after a storm. And they're on this island to both tend to like the lighthouse, but also there is the seed bank where all these seeds are being stored in case you know, there's a disaster on Earth, and you know, they need it to restart civilization. You know, they're in charge of determining which plants are the most important for the human species survival. And meanwhile, global warming and climate change is all making this island very dangerous. Like, it's quickly disappearing into the sea. Like, it has brutal, violent storms, and it's just eliminating this island. So it's very dangerous. It has a very eerie feel. And, you know, this woman washes up on shore. She doesn't trust them. They don't trust her. There's a lot of things going on. And it's just fantastic. And it's not a really long book, too. Like, the actual story itself, I think, is under 300 pages, like just under. Like, I could not put this book down. It's like so atmospheric. Like that the mystery itself probably isn't like the strongest ever. I did guess a lot of things before the reveal. But like, I've read a lot of mystery thriller in my life though, so like, I'm not marking that against the book. If you haven't read a whole lot, maybe you won't be able to guess. So like, I'm not really good at judging. I don't consider that like a bad thing. I'm not good at judging on whether like, you know, it's obvious and it's not like the best written mystery thriller. If it's just, I've read a lot of mystery thrillers, so I know what to look for. Like, I know what's coming around the corner. But there is one reveal though that I was surprised by. I was like, oh, I did not see that coming. But like, even seeing it coming like didn't ruin it for me. Like, I love this book. It might be my favorite of the year. It's between this one and Wind and Truth, but I genuinely enjoyed Wild Dark Shore, and I did cry. I did cry. It is, it's so good. I would highly recommend it. I absolutely will be reading more by this author, because I already read a book by this author before, like a few years ago. Once There Were Wolves, I believe, and I really liked. I was curious when I was reading this one, I realized. It was like, I saw that book and I was like, oh, I think I read that, and I did, and I gave it 4 stars. So clearly I like this author's work, so I definitely plan on reading more. And again, that's it. I'm not doing worst book of the year, because the lowest I've finished and rated is 3 stars, and the others were all DNFs, and I don't rate DNFs because I didn't finish, so I don't really feel I can give a rating, because back in the day when I refused to DNF anything and read it, there were certainly books where, like, you maybe even the first 200 of the pages sucked, but like the rest was good and it got better, and I ended up liking the book. So, you know, maybe I really missed out on something, one of the books that I DNF'd, but I don't rate them, and I'm not going to put them on worst book of the year either, because I just don't personally think that's fair. So, honestly though, even though I said I have been DNFing a lot of books this year, it's kind of been good for my reading year, because I haven't had anything that I've finished that I've rated less than 3 stars, and I have a lot of 5-star reads, even though a few of them are, you know, related to volumes of fairy tale. I have plenty outside of fairy tale that were rated 5 stars. Honestly, it's having, like, I think my over average rating right now for the year is about a 3.6 or something like that, which is, I actually think it's higher. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's actually really good for me. Usually I'm mid to low, like 3.5, 3.4. So like I'm having a really good reading year. I'm hoping that continues on to the second half. So I don't know what video you will be seeing with me from me next, but I am hoping to get one, at least one up in July. Whether I end up reading a lot this month and it ends up being a wrap-up video, or if it's something else, I don't know yet. But I am hoping to stick to my goal of doing better with this channel for the second half of the year. So I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.